pilot light on, if you turn the pilot light on, it's not off. It's not a problem. But if you leave the pilot light on, you're still going to have a warm flue, and you're going to get cold outside. You're going to condense water.
Got it.
So if you're not going to use it much, just turn that pilot off. That's
Okay.
your best bet.
Okay, got it. But that, could you tell, was that just a basic paint that they put on the deck, or I couldn't tell what that coating was that they used on the deck?
I think I used to use it in my first hot tub. It's like a redwood stain.
Okay. So.
And on the decking, the tread decking,
yeah,
that looked to me like what you paint basement floors with.
That floor
which
paint,
is just a paint, but they mix a little epoxy in it, so it's a little more durable.
Yeah. So that's something that we
but
have
underneath
to
it was
recoat
stained.
all the time.
Yeah, you may have to touch it up once in a while.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good, you know.
Okay.
And now, I know you don't have little kids, do you?
No.
Pets?
They're 13, 15.
But the thing I'm talking about is that back retaining wall.
Uh-huh.
It's a pretty good fall off.
Yeah.
You know, I'd put a fence or something. There's a little displacement in it on the top ones.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough that I'm really concerned, but it's like, you know, if somebody's playing the backyard and falls down that sucker, it's going to hurt.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
You know, so I'd look at probably putting a fence or, I said railing, but, you know, most people are going to put some kind of fence there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That does make sense. Okay. Yep. But the general slope and everything of the lot, and does that that typically cause any problems or anything with that kind of a build on that angle? Or?
We can see it when they do what's called a cut and fill. So when they take a house basically and the slope was too much, so they dig some dirt off in the front and they put in the back to fill it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really think that's what happened there. I think that was more of a natural slope just because that ravine behind it.
Yep.
So I don't really think they modified the slope a whole lot to put the house. I think they dug out, you know. But just seeing what it looks like all around there, I think that's more of a natural slope.
Okay.
And, you know, I live in a lot very similar.
Okay.
And, you know, the front of my house is a ranch, and the back of my house is 10 feet off the ground. That level. And,
okay.
You know, so it makes a really nice walkout because it's not like you're in a basement.
Yeah.
You know,
very
so
nice.
that's what ours is, kind of exactly like that one, the layout. And, you know, gives you a lot of nice sunlight. You know, it's like the basement is really a nice occupiable space because that whole back is built with wood framing. It's not concrete. So it stays more the same temperature of the house, all that kind of stuff.
Got it. Yeah, I do like that walk out there, but
it's usually a big plus when they're looking at appraisal.
The walkout, yeah. They
yeah.
had some for that.
Yep.
Good.
Usually about 15.
Oh, good. I didn't realize it was that much. Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew it added some value.
It just makes it a much more livable space.
Yeah, I used to think that actually counted as, you know, I don't know. I guess there's above grade footage and below grade footage, and I thought it counted.
It depends on who you're talking to. If it was all permitted, then it typically counts as livable space. You know, there's egress and all that kind of stuff. But there's no egress windows. If it's completely below grade, things like that, it typically doesn't. Like my house, they count it. You know, because it's kind of like yours. 2/3 of the house is out of the ground.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it depends on who's writing it up. You know, originally it wasn't finished, so then it wouldn't count at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That makes sense. They said that the realtor seemed to think that they used caissons that set the whole foundation and everything on. I don't know if that's possible. Or would. I don't know if they do that.
More than likely, because of the slope, and there's a crawl space at the front of the house.
At the front.
And you access it through, like, the closet off the bathroom downstairs.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's built on what's called a voided foundation. So it's basically a suspension bridge. You have a caisson. Your foundation wall was actually held up on 4 to 6 inches of cardboard called a Shervoy.
Interesting.
Its job was to sit there and hold the concrete up while it dried.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then over time it rots away a lot of times.
Mm.
Well, we have a note that the soil's expanded, so there was 2 walls in there that the dirt was now touching the foundation. Well, what happens is that's the area we give for expansive soils to grow. Once they've filled in that space, basically somebody needs to go in there with an army shovel and you just dig out that space, called reestablishing the void.
Ah.
And since it's a big, tall crawl space, it's pretty simple to do.
I
if
see.
it's one underneath the basement, it's really a pain to do.
So,
But
yeah.
right in front of you, you can see it. But when you look to the right, when you're looking into the crawl space, those walls over there, the soil's growing.
So it needs.
And so that would make me think it's caissons.
Okay.
When we see that, it's almost always caissons.
Okay. That's so he's probably matching up with.
And they
that.
do the same thing underneath the basement, but you just can't see that space because the basement floor gets poured to it.
So some of
But
those.
if you were to take out the basement floor, it'd look just like the crawl space walls.
Some of the you can see some of the foundation has enough void, but some of it has
Yep.
needs.
Correct. If you go like straight in from the crawl space door and left, that area looked good. If you went right, that area we didn't have the gap or the area, the space like we're supposed to.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And then the kind of the erosion under the porch and patio.
There's quite a bit if you're looking at the house on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a bit of erosion over there.
So maybe
the
just
patio
the gutter
is
again.
out at the end. The
Okay.
southwest is the worst.
And that's probably just the gutters again or something along those lines.
More than likely. I would definitely want to get that porch packed back in.
Okay.
Because normally when they do a porch, even though they're really not supposed to, but when they put a roof on it like that,
Mm-hmm.
they tie that porch into the house foundation. So that helps prevent it from dropping. But if the soil erodes enough and it does drop, it breaks your foundation, makes a horizontal crack 4 feet down all the way across the house. And so you don't want that. Right now it's flat. It's like, let's get that built in. And a lot of times you'll also do that foam jacking, the lift jack there. They do the same thing.
To get that packed, the erosion packed.
Yeah, because it's hard to compact the soil back in there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they'll do that same foam jack.
Just shoot some of that back in there, I guess.
Yep, shoot it back in there, take that space.
Got it. And that back patio had some
They could do the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah. Now that one isn't really tied to the house, so that one's. I mean, I would do it so I don't get cracks in settlement, but it's not like that one. I'm worried about it damaging the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. I'd like to buy one of your old houses. You gonna sell your house anytime soon?
No, we're actually looking to put a pool in this year.
Oh, that's neat. Well,
my wife's wanted one for years, and I should have done it years ago when the kids were little.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like what we have a lake house, so my goal is to always be at the lake house. But she's like, well, let's do one for when we're here. So
where's your lake house?
You never get your money southwest.
Oh, good. Yeah.
150 miles.
Yeah, the pools are expensive, huh?
Yeah, well, you don't get your money out when you sell it. But it's like, honestly, if the house gets sold, it'll probably be my kids selling it. So, we're happy where it is. We've been here 20 plus years now. It's why move?
Well, as you're talking about all these things, I think, I don't know what the average homeowner doesn't do most of these things. I don't know. But
depends on the homeowner.
Yeah. They'll notice things and at least talk to somebody about it maybe.
A lot of times a big house like that starts to get away from people. They get older, their life gets busy, they get kids in sports, all that kind of stuff, and what they could maintain, all of a sudden they can't, but they really don't want to hire somebody to do all this stuff, and it just kind of gets away from them.
That makes sense.
The bigger the house, the more we see that kind of stuff.
Did you notice some on the patio, some markings like a grid almost? I don't know if you noticed, it was kind of like some stains on the back patio there, concrete slab. It just.
Yeah, I'm assuming somebody stained something back there.
Oh yeah, maybe like overspray or something.
That
makes sense.
They did something. It's what it kind of looks like.
How about,
I don't think it's outside forces. I think it's inside.
the back windows, one of the back bedroom windows had some stains underneath it that I
Well,
noticed.
yeah, that's like I say, that's the caulking issue.
Oh, is
Because
it?
they haven't maintained the caulk, so the water gets in at the windows and then it goes down. You actually had it down. It was the southeast bedroom on the south wall.
Yep.
But then if you looked, it stopped at the window above it and then picked up again off to the left of that window. So the water gets behind it and it has to channel itself down. And with the vapor barrier, the way they said it would come out quicker. This one, it just makes it down till it finds a gap somewhere and works its way out. You'll see it in a few other spots than there. That was probably the most evident, but it was elsewhere too.
Okay.
And that's what the caulking is going to help prevent.
That makes sense. Okay. So then, and you guys do I was curious about the attic. One of them, part of it just looks like a big old attic, and I don't know. Like you can almost stand up in there. Is there a lot of space up in there?
Oh, you could stand up in there.
Huh.
The garage in the house is big attic.
And the insulation looks all okay in there for the most part.
Yeah, they used the R30. Now we do R38.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. But before like 2002, they used R30. So
Okay.
Means it's 12 inches of blow and it's 10 inches of bats. And you have both. The vaulted areas have fiberglass bats. The flat areas were all below in fiberglass.
Not horrible, but...
I mean, you could add a little. The energy department actually wants you to do R48.
Oh, wow.
And so if I added it, that's what I do.
Do you just put...
But I don't know if you're going to see any real savings by doing it.
Can you can't... you don't have to take out what's there to add?
No, you just have to... You can't put a vapor barrier on top of it. So if you put fiberglass mats on top of it, there should be no paper or plastic.
Yeah, kind of like
if
that.
If they blow it, they can just blow it right over everything.
Yeah. Do you like that blown better than the bats, or any preference?
Each serves its purpose. The bats hold better on a vault.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would use it there. Bats are easier for a homeowner to install.
I see, yeah.
So like when I add insulation to mine, I use fiberglass bats because I don't have to pay somebody.
Yeah.
And, but, and you can get a kit to blow it yourself, rent it, but it's a pain, dirty job.
Sounds dirty, yeah.
I pick my battles, I don't want that one.
But the roof venting, did you say anything about that? Did that seem okay?
Yeah, I said that's what I said. You have no and lower.
None on the lower.
That's what I think is going on with all that moss.
Okay. That's right. So, thank you.
Yeah, and, code just says how much you have to have. It doesn't say where it's supposed to be. So it's a lot easier to put ridge than it is to put lower. We actually have
okay. I see.
I don't know what you want to call it. Not a challenge, but there's actually we're trying to update the guidelines. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have a vapor barrier in most of the house, so you have to have a square foot of venting for every 150 square foot of attic.
Okay.
We're trying to make it so if they use balanced high and low, it works so much better. Then they only have to have 1 square foot of venting for every 300 foot. Oh. So there's constantly we change the building guidelines. Mm-hmm. But that's one of them. It's like upper venting just doesn't work because it basically vents from turtle vent, never does the corners of the house or the front or the rear of the house. And so that's on the north side. That's where we get the moisture buildup.
Interesting. And those, I see what you mean by that lower roof now. What is I guess you go in the side of it from the outside? I don't know.
Well, that's called a gable.
Okay.
The soffit vent is better where it goes underneath the soffits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done those.
So those work better. Yeah. Your house, I think you're going to have to do some gables because you don't have a lot of soffit. Mm-hmm. The way they have the different details and all that, you have